Good evening, welcome to the Select Board meeting of December 13th. I'll call the meeting to order at 6:01. This meeting is being broadcast live on BNC TV and line streamed on YouTube. Live stream, not line stream. To find BNC TV on YouTube, go to youtube.com and search for Bernardston-Northfield Community Television. This meeting will be available for later viewing by following the link at townofbernardston.org. And you can also watch us on channel 1075 on your Comcast dial in Bernardston. I entertain a motion for the payroll warrant in the amount of $46,296.71.
So moved. Second.
Are there any questions on the payroll warrant? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for the vendor warrant in the amount of $107,280.04.
So moved. Second.
Any questions on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for the special meeting minutes of November 28th.
So moved.
I'll second that because Brian wasn't here. Are there any questions on it?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion for the regular meeting minutes of November 29th, 2023.
So moved. Second.
Any additions, deletions, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion for the special meeting minutes of November 30th, 2023.
So moved. Second.
Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion for the special meeting minutes of December 7th.
So moved.
I'll second that because Brian wasn't here. All those in favor?
Aye.
Counter announcements. The Finance Committee meeting December 18th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Town Hall. Town Hall Holiday Potluck Luncheon Thursday, December 21st at 12 p.m. Town Hall. Holiday Luncheon and Fall Town String Band Friday, December 22nd at 11 a.m. at the Senior Center. There'll be no regular Select Board meeting on Wednesday, December 27th. Citizens' concerns. The town of Bernardston has received verbal complaints from the concerned citizens about possible zoning and community health violations. Property owners may be using their land or building in a manner inconsistent with the zoning regulations. For example, operating a business in a residential zone or using a residential property for commercial purposes. As it stands, the Franklin County Cooperative Inspection Program, Jim Hawkins, and Cooperative Public Health Service, Randy Grossier, are responsible for the enforcement of zoning and public health violations. The question is, what is the town going to do with the complaints? Do we want to forward the complaints to the proper enforcement persons, or do we want to send a letter to the property owners with an alleged violation? We can see the, if I can see this is kind of small for me. We have a land use violation, operating a business in a residential zone. We on Ball Mountain Road. We have one on South Street. We have one on Church Street. We have another one on South Street. It's no permit to operate an auto mechanic business. And we have one on Brattleboro Road, person living in barn with no plumbing. So
these were all verbal? Somebody came in
Yes.
yeah.
and they didn't want to put it in writing?
No.
It's been brought to our attention, so there is, even if it's not written, we should send a letter to these addresses, I think, and let them know that we've had a verbal complaint, and to ask them before we have to move it forward to the appropriate authorities, ask them if they're going to come in and get compliance with whatever they're doing.
So that would be a registered letter that they'd have to respond to in so many days, or this one doesn't hang out there, or?
Yeah,
Or your
registered
file.
letter. Registered letter, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to make it hard for people to do things in town, but it's just a matter of you have to have, some cases you have to have another license, and that's just a matter of just applying. In some cases, you have to have your property being used sanitarily, so those are things for health inspectors and that stuff. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
I agree with the letter and some kind of time frame associated with it, so we are taking an action, and hopefully most of these people will stop what they're doing and self-correct, but if we need to proceed, then it's to forward on to the appropriate agency.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You put a time frame on, send a letter out and a response back by January 30th?
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, great.
Moving on. Appointment, John Lepore, and David's not here.
No, David couldn't make it.
Okay.
I thought he
Yeah, I did too.
said
Okay.
he'd try to make it, but stuff comes up.
We just felt it was good to talk face to face again after what we found out. We thought we were good. We thought things were, we thought we had the ball rolling, and thank Karen for
Absolutely.
getting on the ball and getting that thing rolling, but I found out because you designed the contract, I mean, the grant,
That's what I said.
we're dead in the water again.
Right.
Now, question I have,
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me come back and your support in this project, because I'm very passionate about this project.
and it looks like it's dead at this point,
It is,
but I got a question.
yeah.
What would happen, and I'm just gonna throw out a name, and I hope this person doesn't get upset with me, but what would happen if Bill, I'm just using the name Bill, took over and did what you're doing now, and you stepped back and became the project manager?
I cannot make it, well, I would, honestly, Stan, it's so much work, I couldn't do it for free.
I'm not saying
I
for free.
cannot make it-
I'm not saying, hear the whole thing out. I mean, I'm just trying to think this through my head
Right.
myself. If you had somebody else that was doing what you're doing right now, and you were the project manager getting paid to oversee all this.
Can't do that.
Can't do that either.
No, cannot make,
Okay.
I can't make a dime off from this grant without having filed a section 19. So, that being said, what we can do is we can reapply for the grant. Before we do that, though, we have to get a section 19. I believe it's just a piece of paperwork
Right.
between us and agreement.
After we designate the positions as special,
Right.
then we can go that route.
Right.
Right.
So then, and David doesn't need anything because this is going to be through the town.
Right.
But, if we do get the grant, we want to make sure we sit down and before anybody signs anything, I want to make sure we understand, everybody's above board with what needs to be done and who's going to do what. Honestly, David and I are not interested in managing the grant. We want to do the field work because it's very specialized. It requires a lot of public outreach, a lot of preparation, and a lot of really innovative things. So sitting at a desk and just doing paperwork and budgets and that kind of, no, that's not us. We're more the action guys.
Okay.
We want to be in the driver's seat. So.
I don't really know if these people that are in charge of this grant are realizing really what they're asking. I think in their own minds, they thought, okay, this is a grant. These people are going to go out there and work on it. And they didn't think these little problems would come up. But because the way it's written, it does.
Well, I think part of it is, Stan, I asked myself the same question, which is, how did we get this far down the road without someone saying to us, prior to this, you need to file a Section 19? I mean, and this is something we've been working on. There's been a lot of dialogue with everybody, except for obviously the ethics board.
Yeah. 600
and they're
pound
just-
gorilla.
Yeah, they're fun to work with. If you've ever tried calling them, it's just you feel like you're talking to your mom. So
Remember, you're on camera here.
Okay. That's good. Andrew didn't really know anything about that because I think a lot of what's happened to, as you know, with grant money, the towns that have a grant writer and they have a GIS guy and they have all of these specialists on staff, they don't have to do any Section 19 because the grant is going to pay for, you know, contracting outside of that. So this is not something they run into.
Right.
It's I think it's really new for them to have such an innovative grant that's moving forward, and probably just never thought about it. You know, like, oh, these guys really are good at this. They know what they want, and they need to, you know, they didn't know it.
And it all depends on who you talk to, because you were talking to the lawyer, it didn't sound like a Section 19 even had
No,
to be.
he was all about Section 20, so,
Right.
and I explained it the best, coming in the middle of it.
Sure.
I mean, I did the best I could, but he said, this doesn't sound like a 19 at all. But then again, I don't think it was clear that I made it clear that you designed the grant.
Right.
I think if I had said that word, he would have been all over 19,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
So we have a way to fix it. It's just gonna take a little more time.
Yeah,
than a year.
we'll be all set
Yeah.
for next round.
Yeah, it's a
And that is the
tweak.
good thing about it.
That is,
To
and
have
if we-
learned how to get, you know,
We know for the future
Yeah.
too, because this is something new for the
Right.
town to be able to do this, you know, and
Right.
honestly, it's brand new, but thank you for your support on that.
oh, yeah.
That was-
me
We
too.
appreciate you hanging in there on this.
Well, we're sorry to bring you in tonight, we wanted to see you face to face. and
No, I
just-
appreciate it, I
just
really
throw
do.
out.
It means a lot to me to hear the support and to know that you're behind this, and then, you know, like I said, down the road, we're gonna rewrite it, we'll meet again, I'll obviously be back. We rewrite it again. We actually have quite a few changes that we'll make this time that I think are gonna really improve the grant. And of course, the research behind it is just rolling in with all the new data that we're getting on climate change.
Oh, yeah.
So that's even become a stronger case for things like wildfires and, you know, what's going on with that.
Is the intent to go joint with Leiden again?
Yes.
or- Okay.
Yeah, and the reason for that, Karen, is that they have a 9 or 10 point rating system, their
Sure.
rubric, and you want to get as many checks on those by those numbers as
Okay.
you can. And one of them is a regional grant is given preference over just a municipal grant. So in fact, if we could involve
I see.
other towns,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
Gotcha.
the stronger it's going to be.
Makes sense.
And the other piece that's really big about this grant is we're gonna make it so it can be duplicated by other hill towns that don't have a ton of money. You know, they'll be able to actually learn how to do this. We're gonna
Okay.
actually do some manual, an instructional manual using open source software for all of our work, which makes it available to anybody, you know, any municipality at no cost. It's a huge step.
So you just keep us posted in the loop and
Oh,
when,
you'll know all about it.
when we're
yeah.
starting to step
Yep.
towards the,
Yep,
All right.
definitely. Yeah.
thank you.
Good.
So good.
Thank you,
Well,
John.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
John?
John.
I have a question before you leave. Well, actually, two questions. How much is the grant?
It's for the actual grant itself with the town's in-kind services was something like about $192,000.
My other question is, why don't you appoint him special tonight?
We're going to the next order of business.
It's on the list.
Sorry, I should have.
Yeah, but thank you. And I'll be back, real quick update on the river corridor mapping, that's still happening. We're wrapping up that grant.
Okay.
You know, that was the pro bono project that I've been working on. I've been working with a geomorphologist, so that's still going on. We're still waiting to hear about Charity Farm Lot, the forest management plan. I know Brad's been working on it, and he has some of it done, but we really want to try to light a fire, so to speak, and get him going on that a little bit.
Okay, I hear you.
I thought it'd fit.
There you go.
Thanks again,
Thank you.
John. Appreciate it.
Okay, with all this, we'll be right with you, Dan. We have, after seeing this problem, we have a motion, we're gonna make a motion tonight, hopefully if the select board agrees with it, to designate some of our boards as special municipal employees. But it'll eliminate the the section 19 in the future. And I would like to make a motion to designate the Bernardston Planning Board, the Bernardston Recreation Commission, the Bernardston Conservation Commission, the Bernardston Board of Health, the Bernardston Finance Committee, and the Bernardston Zoning Board as special status.
Second.
You
You just made the motion, I'm seconding.
Okay. Any questions Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's done. Dan Devine, come right up, my friend.
I didn't do it. How are you?
Okay, pretty good, sir. We, glad to see you, bring you in and talk to you for a bit. We weren't sure what was going on with the zoning board of appeals because we haven't heard anything for quite a while. And there was a couple issues that people wanted to talk to the zoning board of appeals and couldn't get a hold of anybody to make that happen. So we were just seeing where you're standing and is the board alive and healthy and.
For the most part, yes.
Okay.
Anyone that has a question, they're supposed to be referred to the building inspector. We don't do anything until the building inspector sends something to us.
So the way it works is building
yeah.
inspector,
Yeah.
and then they send it over
Right,
to you.
and we don't even get involved till the building inspector kicks something to us. Us getting in there before they go to the building inspector causes problems. You know,
Okay.
well, he said this, well, she said that, he said this, and he said that. And it's
Okay.
just for anything that comes into the town hall should be just referred to the building inspector. The board is in trouble, yeah, because it's about to fall apart.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm about to get done, and I think if I do, the whole thing might go like dominoes. Yeah, Jack Patch is not well. Mark Fitzpatrick is talking about getting off. Russell's 95. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not for sure, but the select board may be hearing some hearings pretty soon.
Yep.
And you can, and we can work real fast to try to get some new members in here, but we've been stagnant for so long. A lot of the power's been taken away from the zoning board, and alls we're there is to tell people no. You know, they come through, yeah, you can get a special permit here and there, but not many. Most, it's all cut and dry. You know, either you can do this or you can't. So
Okay.
we're at a real standstill.
When you said that most of the power has been taken away, what power,
Well, the planning board sets up all the rules and regulations for us. And so much of it has been just watered down.
I know the last thing at the town meeting was shot down by the town.
Yeah, but it just, we have so little we can do now. It's just so hard,
Okay.
you know. Can I
Well-
get a permit? No. You
Well-
sure? No.
I believe if we lose the zoning board of appeals, it comes back to the select board.
Right.
And if that was to happen, would you be willing to sit with us?
Sure.
Okay, because of your knowledge and stuff?
Yeah.
If your
Aye.
board falls apart, it'd
Yeah.
be,
And it's, I'd say it's pretty close to happening.
okay.
Yeah, the guys in the staff are just, you know, we like I said, 3.5 years, we haven't had a meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, and nothing's been forwarded to us. A couple of things came through on some questioning for X, Y, and Z, but
Yeah.
nothing, you know, we don't set any protocol. It's usually the planning board that does that.
Okay, what I'd like to do right after the first year at some point is bring all the boards together
Sure.
and just have a round table discussion.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to come to something
Oh,
like
sure.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we really appreciate what you have done for the town and what you do for the town. And it falls back on us until we can find somebody. Having your knowledge sitting
Right.
there with us would be
Right.
twofold.
And I have no problem with that, but I'm
Okay.
going 75 to 80 hours a week right now, and
Yeah,
it's getting pretty hard.
okay,
Yeah.
Dan. I appreciate you taking the time. You guys
Yeah.
have any questions for
And
Dan?
Nope, that's good.
Yeah.
You're wearing a lot of hats.
We're not gonna let it, just fall apart. We'll,
Okay.
but it's time to put maybe some feelers out there for some new people.
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
good.
Yeah,
Nobody would.
yeah, even a chairman.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm about 20 years in and it's about time, yeah.
Yeah, I hear that too.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just, and it's no one's fault, but it's so hard to get a hearing, and it takes 6 weeks, then it takes another 3 weeks after, and then you have to go to the courthouse, and you have to do this. It's just not an easy process. And there's nothing you can do.
No, everything has
Just-
changed so much.
Yeah, it's not just setting a meeting and coming in. It's
Okay.
awful.
Well, at least I have a better understanding. I didn't realize I went to the building inspector first. I thought I
Yeah.
went to you and then to
Yeah.
the building inspector.
Yeah, we don't set up any kind of hearing or meeting until it comes from him,
Okay.
you know, or her, whoever's in that office at the time, you know? Yeah,
We're gonna be
And,
pushing more for, those particular people doing more for the town instead of just sitting back and doing nothing. We're gonna be
Yeah.
sending them some,
yeah,
tasks to start working on.
right. And, it used to have in the boxes, it used to say to go to the building inspector. Does it not say that over there anymore? Or?
You mean the boxes?
Yeah, just with the zoning, there used to be a little placard that said any questions are referred to the building inspector.
You know, we'll make sure it says that on the website too.
Right.
That, I don't know of any box, but
Yeah.
You mean on your mailbox?
Yeah, the mailboxes, yeah,
yeah,
they're here somewhere.
okay.
And
Well,
I mean, I don't even think we have a secretary anymore for the zoning.
you do
board.
not, yeah,
No.
she resigned, Christina,
Yeah,
yeah, Costello
yeah,
resigned.
yeah,
Okay. Well, we'll have to work on that process too.
yeah, and that's a chore. That's not an easy chore, doing all the registered mail and everything else. It's just, it's a cumbersome task, whoever takes on that job.
Add it to my list of tasks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we've always had good luck with getting everything from the boards that we need to.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard, but, yeah, I don't know, I don't think Jack's doing very well, you know.
Okay, well, we wish everybody,
I know,
Good-
I
good
think
luck
if we had to, they'd hang in there,
yeah.
you know, for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, well, we'll keep that in mind and just
Yeah.
keep us posted on
Yeah.
what's going on. Like I said, if it falls back on us, we'll just
Right.
see if we can get you involved and,
Right.
and then we'll ask any townspeople out there that are
Yeah.
interested in sitting on the
Right.
Bernardston Zoning Board of Appeals.
Right.
Please contact the selectman's office and then
Right.
we'll contact
Yeah.
you
Go from
and give
there.
you a name and,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
see what,
try to work with some people, sure.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
We good with
okay.
that?
Thank
All
you.
right, good luck.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, okay, all right, see you, thanks.
I'm gonna switch hats.
Okay, our next order of business is the flagpole policy. As you know, a lot of towns in Bernardston received a letter from a political group asking whether they could put their flag on town flagpoles. And at that point, we realized that we really didn't have a policy and we should have a policy. We were not required to respond to them because they didn't really name Bernardston. And the other thing is, we've never allowed that, so we pretty much are all set with it. But we do have a policy that I'd like to read tonight and see if you guys are willing to accept this policy. The purpose of this policy is to establish guidelines for the display of flags, banners, and signs on a town flagpoles, town buildings, and town properties. Policy guidelines. Policy. It is the policy of the town of Bernardston that all flags, banners, or signs will be displayed in conformance with the federal and state laws in this policy. This includes, but not is limited to, the federal Our Flag publication and the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 2, Section 6 and Section 6A. Eligible flags in order of precedence. Only the United States Commonwealth, only the United States, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Bernardston, and official flags of the U.S. military and POW MIA flags may be flown on any town-owned flagpole. Outdoor flags will be flown on town flagpoles in the following order of precedence. First, the United States flag. Second, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts flag. Third, the Town of Bernardston flag. And fourth, the official flag of the U.S. military and POW MIA. Federal, state, and local proclamations of special occasions. Flags flown on town flagpoles shall be displayed in accordance with the standards referenced above in Section 2.1 and 2.2. The select board, or if time is the essence, the town administrator may order flags to be lowered to have staff, including but not limited to the flag of the United States and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in honor of the death of a town employee killed in the line of duty, or in the observance of specific events on circumstances or if ordered by the President of the United States. I'd like to come back to that when we finish the rest of this. 2.4, eligible banners and signs. Only banners and signs regarding town business or town-sponsored events may be erected on or attached to town buildings or town property. Other flags. The town flagpoles are not intended to serve as a forum for free expression by the public. The only flags permitted on town-owned flagpoles are those set forth in section 2.2, and all other flags are prohibited from being flown on any and all town of Bernardston flagpoles. Other banners and signs. Town buildings and other town property are not intended to serve as a forum for free expression. The only banners or signs permitted on town buildings or town property are those set forth in section 2.4, and all other banners and signs are prohibited from erection on or attached to any town building or town property. Going back to 2.3, where it says the select board, or if time is of essence, the town administrator may order flags to be lowered to half-staff. The only people that can order flags flown at half-staff are the president, the governor of the state, or the mayor of the Commonwealth of Washington. No others can do that per the United States Code of Ethics. However, saying that, there is no penalty for doing it, but it just takes away the importance of flying the flag and special things. Now, an employee, I think it was Dwight Eisenhower, put this in law, that an employee that is killed in the line of duty, firemen, policemen, first responders, the governor can have them, you can have those flown at half-staff. So I'd like to change the section 2.3 to adhere to the flag etiquette on who can authorize a flag to be flown at half-staff.
Okay.
And it's up to you guys.
Are we in discussion at this point?
Huh?
Are we in discussion at this point?
Yes.
Okay. There is a placard that sometimes is in front of the fire department that announces the events in town, the lighting of the Christmas tree, that kind of thing. Would that fall under this statute or this policy? It is
No.
a placard as opposed to a banner or a sign. It is a sign.
It's not attached to the building.
Right. That's the out. Okay, good. If somebody came and asked us whether they could put up something that wasn't attached to the building, could we still tell them it doesn't apply or doesn't qualify? I want to make it sure that
The qualifier in this one, it says erected on or attached to town buildings or town property.
town property, that's on 2.4.
2.4, yeah.
Yep.
So I think that might be our out of that one.
Okay. So how do we approve the Christmas tree lighting without approving some other worthy cause? I don't want to go down a road that gets us in trouble.
I don't know if I'm following, the Christmas tree lighting is something by the fire department?
It's on that 3x6.
Putting lights on a Christmas tree, I don't think is political, I don't think it's,
But the sign itself
Okay.
announcing that there's going to be a tree lighting.
I would consider that a town-sponsored event
Okay,
Right.
myself, but.
It
I
is.
don't know where that would fall.
okay,
It's like Jen announcing things she's doing at the senior center on her little board.
okay.
That's a town-sponsored event.
So those would still be in compliance with what we're reading here?
right.
I think so.
Okay.
It's a good question, though, to make sure.
It would have to be a town-sponsored event. And the Old Home Days, or whatever we're calling it now,
That's a town-sponsored event.
okay. All right. With that correction, I would move that we accept the policy as read.
Can I ask a question?
I'll second it. Yep.
You mentioned flagpoles all the time. What about all the brackets that are on all the poles up and down
Nothing,
Church Street
we're
and
not
South
talking
Street?
about that.
I can go put any flag I want to on one of those
That's,
brackets.
you have to talk to the, you have to talk to the telephone company about that, or the
In this
power
town, it's
company.
a telephone company.
But the town owns the bracket.
That, well, we could take the bracket down every time, but it's not, that's nothing, we're
No,
not talking
you don't.
about that, we're talking about.
Yeah, the
town
policy doesn't
road
apply to the,
flagpoles.
to that, but I thought of that too, to be quite honest, but it doesn't apply because it's not town property or town buildings, town property, it's not. So anybody could do that, I think. She's probably right.
Yep.
So,
Okay, we have a motion made on the floor to accept the town policies with the change made to section 2.3 to make it worded as stated as in the United States government's flag etiquettes, as only the governor, the president, the governor can order the flags to be flown at half-staff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I make an announcement about that? The MMA has announced a webinar for January 3rd on, is it on side view? Let me see.
yes, it is.
Flying the flag. They're invited to an MMA webinar, flag flying policies and requests, what municipalities need to know. Wednesday, January 3rd, and you can register now. Right. You'll be getting that email too. I already got it.
It came out today, I believe. Yeah.
Send that up to her. I don't think, well, maybe we all have to sign it. I didn't look at
Yeah,
it.
you sign the back page, I'll make the correction on the first page. It'll be easy to fix, so.
Okay. Moving right along, the speed is light here. Let me see what we got next.
This would be Jen.
Old business. Oh, we like old business. The FY24 Community Compact IT Grant. On December 6, 2023, the town of Bernardston was awarded a $50,000 grant through the Community Compact Cabinets Information Technology Grant Program. The grant is for the costs associated with the implementation of a robust server and network infrastructure. Jen, I see you're at the table, so it's all yours.
Okay, I just came because I applied for it.
Right,
It's kind of the ball's gonna be going into Karen's court on this one.
right.
But, you know, I wrote the application, so I agreed with her that we'll kind of work together on this. Just to go through the grant, you know, it is a $50,000. The way that they would reimburse it is through a 45-day cycle. So we purchase the equipment, put in for reimbursement, they pay it within 45 days. The effective date would be when you sign the contract, and then you have 18 months from the signing of the date of the contract to execute the contract. So you don't have to rush into anything. It's pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of tracking. I went through here, you know, you have to use an approved contractor. And I kind of compared, you know, when you hire a construction company, they have to be up to date on their OSHA 10 and that kind of stuff. So you have to get a state-approved contractor that's within compliance of.
And the three that we're associating with now are state contracted, the ones that we're going to be setting up meetings with in January.
Okay.
There's three companies that will present in front of you. Well, excuse me, have them
And
come.
they're gonna be presenting to us, the
Presenting
select
to you, yes. And we'll do it in a special meeting format, so it's not, you know, it has your full attention on the one subject matter.
Okay.
Is that accurate, Jen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now
I
let's-
know all three replied. I don't know
Yes.
if you got back
I
to them
did-
with dates.
I did not yet.
Okay.
No, waited for this to
Wait
get
for this,
approved,
yeah.
and then I'll move forward with that.
Okay.
Okay, it says we have to have some forms completed by December 30th.
Right,
Yeah.
and I'm going to take the steps with Blythe to make that happen. I'm
Okay, so
meeting
you-
with Blythe tomorrow, via telephone, and she's going to walk me through the documents that need to be signed and turned in by the 30th of December. Because one of the questions is am I qualified, certified contract administrator right now? So I probably am not. But I will get there. So she's going to hold my hand with filling out the paperwork.
Are you a contract certified?
I have to be the contract manager of the grant. There's procurement responsibilities that I probably should have had some kind of training on. I'm sure Lou was the chief procurement officer for the town. I have to get caught up on all that. So in the meantime, and I will, but in the meantime, Blythe's gonna make sure I'm straight with the paperwork.
Okay.
So that we're,
I did reach out to another town that has received this grant in the past, asking, is this something we have to post in the paper? Or the short answer was no.
right,
I did follow up with an email. I'm still waiting on a response back on some more detailed questions. So when that information becomes available, I'll share it.
Yeah, Blythe might be able to answer that too.
yes. So I am gonna go with, Blythe is of Capital Strategic, and she is gonna walk me through the paperwork piece. And then I'll be leaning on you, leaning on Blythe. But I think that's important to go through each step of the grant this way for me, so I learn the right way and keep the town safe. and I think that's the way we're going to go.
Yeah, and this grant we can keep reapplying for every other year.
Okay.
So we'll just keep building, off of things.
Okay, but this one here, this one's gonna take care of getting 14 computers and a server?
We're not going to get the computer part. This will cover the server and network infrastructure.
And
So
an
the
IT
computers-
package. Oh, no, not
Computers
the
that we
IT.
have will be attached
Yeah.
to it.
Yep.
It's not like we have to buy brand new computers.
No.
No.
Okay, but we got things to think about, and some of those things is where the server would be. How would we go about paying the cost beyond
Right,
the
Yeah.
grant?
that's the scary part.
Right.
And some of that we'll get out of the vendors when we're
Absolutely.
some of that information. we'll be
Two
able
of
to
the
get out
three
the
vendors had the same prices on the maintenance side as of now, and there is a little wiggle room on that, but generally it's about $250 a month.
And that's in the grant?
The maintenance cost, no.
No, the grant's going to cover the server, right?
The whole infrastructure.
The whole
all the
infrastructure piece, and
equipment.
then the incurred reoccurring costs will be the IT package and the maintenance on the server, ballpark $250 a month.
But to answer your question, Jane, like right now today, Lou is an IT guy.
I know.
Karen is not. It's not a
No.
knock on Karen. Most people aren't. Everything. We need to do something anyway in that regard.
Be nice if Lou could sit in on your presentation.
And he
so
may.
you got some
Stan had
expertise.
mentioned that before.
And I think we're gonna try to get the guy from the fire department.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, each of the fire department has their own IT guy, and police have their own separate IT guy. I'm not sure if you're aware of
Same
that. No? This
If they're
out
there,
beyond Blue.
How are they paying that?
They're using their own, within their budget to do that. So we have,
The
Right.
police has to stay separate because of the confidentiality stuff, and that's why they get their own IT guy. We've not, we've seen that in the budget.
I wasn't aware of that, but I know that the fire department has their own IT guy too, so maybe that's the same reason. But
That's
there
what's
are,
wrong
people
with
are already
fire.
going out, people are already reaching out and taking matters in their own hands with the IT piece.
Well, the
Good
fire
point.
department's somebody on the fire department has a very
Oh.
good interest in that and a lot of knowledge of it. So
Again,
it's
I
not
didn't know
like they're
that.
paying
I
I
for
did-
I
yeah.
think the police have to have their own
that's a
server. They don't
different
have necessarily have to have a separate IT
No, they don't.
department.
Yeah.
Most bigger cities have one IT department that deals with each department. It's just different how they manage those
Right.
things.
So for tonight, we have to accept the grant if we choose and then sign that contract tonight?
Yep,
Yeah, except, and also appoint who the contract I think, appoint the contract manager, which would be me.
Yep.
So I would make a motion to accept the fiscal year '24 Community Compact IT grant and approve the town coordinator as the contract manager.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. So that-
Thank you, Jen. for
Yep.
your
A lot of work.
work
Thanks,
on
Jen.
this.
I think just Stan signs that one, right?
I don't think it's here.
There's nothing to be signed
Nothing
on
to
that.
sign.
That was kind of just, that's what I need to sign all that, actually. That's what I'm going to be signing.
Oh, you get to wear the orange jumpsuit.
Yeah, I'll
Very
be
good,
wearing the
Jen.
orange
Anything
jumpsuit.
else from you tonight since you're here?
I just had a fascinating conversation today. So, you know, we've discussed doing things at the Powers Institute, like getting a cover over the ramp, possibly mini splits, or the window replacement. But we've always run into these roadblocks about what is acceptable change at the Powers Institute, what can be done. I've had numerous people tell me, well, you can't do that because there's a grant, and they'll come back and take the grant money away that we used to rehab the place. So I decided to look up that grant where the Powers Institute got the money. Through some research, I actually knew the project manager of the work that was done over there in early 2000. I reached out to him for some information, and he pointed me to Brian McHugh, who is the Director of Community Development at the Franklin County Regional Housing and Redevelopment Authority. And I had a long conversation with Brian today. He's still in that same position. He explained to me that the restoration of the Powers Institute included 2 rounds of grant funding through the Community Development Block Grant Program. They had the ribbon cutting in 2002. The grants were applied for and administered by them at the HRA. He told me the architect was Don Williams of Greenfield, who passed away about 10 years ago. The contractor was Dole Brothers of Shelburne. He also believes the brothers that own that, Bucky and George, recently passed away. I explained about Luella, the wealth of knowledge. She just recently passed away, and that's why I was kind of looking into it. And he explained the ribbon cutting was in 2002. Any funding through a CDBG grant, typically the restrictions on those grants expire after 5 years, 10 years, and at most 15 years. So after 21 years, there's no more restrictions, and we are off the hook for compliance. The issue is, it is a historical building. So he said going forward, any kind of work we want to do, whether it's a cover over the ramp, we just have to check with the Mass Historical Commission and the local Historical Commission, and it's not completely restrictive. When we do a project, we fill out a project notification form with the Mass Historical Commission, and Brian said he'd be happy to assist with that. He's filled out.
Brian McHugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have other Brians.
Yep. And, you know, he said, just keep in mind, the Mass Historic Commission, they don't shoot down a lot. You know, they know that people need to adjust to society's needs. You know, the cover over the ramp, that's about safety. They're not going to shoot down that stuff. He said sometimes the local historic zoning can trump the mass historic zoning, because some of these towns get really crazy about the stuff. But, you know, like mini splits, he said that's no problem. These buildings are doing it all the time. The cover over the ramp would make totally sense. In regards to window replacement, he said that we would have to get a price from an architect and then call him. We would be responsible for getting that price together. He said he'd be happy to help us apply for that money for the windows. He remembers the windows from when they rehabbed the building. He agrees it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. He said there's no money this year because the CDBG funding has been spent on the septic at Country Estates.
Right.
But next year.
Yeah, Brian's in here a lot with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you know.
We know
Yeah.
Brian, yep.
Oh, he was so wonderful to talk to.
2 or 3 times a year he's here.
All right, so
Yep.
yeah, that's our guy.
Yep. Good guy.
Good
A lot of
stuff.
knowledge, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like
Yeah.
we had looked at doing the cover over the ramp. We don't really need him for that. We just have to have the financing to do it. Because before we had contractors coming, but there was so much argument about, can it be attached to the building, can it not? You know, so it was just really encouraging to talk to him, because those restrictions from that grant are gone.
Yep.
So,
Good to know.
you know, if we want to change a door,
It's just the historical.
Yeah.
That we have to be concerned about.
yeah. But he said the mass historic, they're pretty easy.
Yep.
I mean,
Good.
they want to see these buildings being taken care of.
Right.
So they're not going to
That's
be
good- That's
restrictive.
good news. Can you,
New technology.
that letter you have there, or
Yeah.
whatever you've written up, can you make sure Karen gets it so we can put that in our file?
Yeah, this
So
is just my notes.
That's,
'Cause when I was talking to him.
it's good, it's notes, but it's notes that we need to
Yeah.
have. to
It's
put
5
in-
years from now, we'll be asking the same question.
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah.
So the possibility of using some ARPA funding for that overhang is still out there.
Yes, that's something we need to get a price on. It's
Oh,
something
yeah.
We need to get that form that
Yeah.
you said to talk to the, send to
Yeah.
the historic people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's something that we should definitely,
Yep.
definitely
Yeah.
look at doing.
Perfect.
Great.
All good news, and again, we appreciate that work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I've been
I was
asking
thrilled.
for that since 2010.
oh, he was so helpful.
Yeah,
I was
he's a good
just,
guy.
I was grateful to talk to him.
Real quick, you want to go to the temporary employee? It's on our agenda for, I didn't know if you want to hop, you know, so. But, yeah, so we're all set with that.
Great.
All right, that's all I have.
Okay. We have a third-party transfer station inspection report and corrective action form. The corrective action form identifies deficiencies noted during the inspection that was conducted on October 19th, 2023. A new waistband sign we need to post a new waistband sign at the gate. A new sign was left for the attendant on September 29th and was located inside the attendant shed on October 19th. The sign needs to be posted no later than December 31st. And then place 2022 inspection report into the Bernardston inspection report white binder. Has this been done?
I met with Brian this morning and gave him a copy of the report, went over the deficiencies with him. So he's going to make sure that the sign is hung and the inspection report is placed in the binder.
Okay. So this is all set to sign in because
Yes, you just have to sign it, yep.
We didn't have any corrections we had to do.
Huh?
The deficiencies didn't require corrections.
Well, they do, posting the new sign.
No, I meant
That
the
was,
wells are all okay.
yeah, those just got tested too.
Right,
we're waiting
yes.
on that report.
We just paid for that, yeah.
This was the Franklin County Solid Waste inspection of
This
the
is really
transfer
make sure-
station.
Make sure the right
Just the
signs are up
transfer
everywhere.
station, not the well, right.
Can I ask a question about the transfer station?
Thank you.
While we're on the subject? Every year, it comes up, the question that's raised about whether curbside pickup would be more economical for the town than to continue to operate the transfer station. Last year, when it came up, the finance committee was told that that was being worked on. So has it been worked on, and are we gonna hear anything about that? I know if we're gonna discontinue, the transfer station has to be done by December 31st. So where does that project stand?
Brian and Lou were working on that, Brian Minor.
Yep.
I'm not sure where they ended up. The last I heard in brief conversations with Lou is it was not gonna be cheaper, but they weren't done with their evaluation of all the possibilities. Now with Lou gone, Karen probably doesn't know anything about it.
I have heard about it. I have talked to Brian about it too, and I think they thought it was, you know, without getting too into it, definitely need to get, he owes, you know, a report on that. I think we can ask for his analysis on that and present that in this format. I'll ask Brian to do that, and we'll get some. It won't be by December 31st, I'm afraid, but we'll get him in front of the board next month.
Okay.
It doesn't have to even be next month if it can't be done by December 31st, because you can't make a movement on the.
Yes, that's just too quick. Yeah,
But
it wasn't
we
gonna
did have a
be.
discussion that it might not be cheaper, but it might be worth the extra dollars to do it.
Right, potentially.
If all of the costs actually got included in the decision.
Okay, we need to be working on our budget too, so,
That's tomorrow.
well, we'll be able to finish up with Jen, and then you've got to leave, so we probably won't get into ours tomorrow. We'll have to have a meeting next week and start on ours, so, and if not, it's gonna be, we'll just say we're gonna have to have an extension. Some things that are, we could turn in most of the budget, but we might have to hold back on some things until we get a little bit more information. Because there's some new things that are going to place. And one of those things we might have to hold back is whether we're going to continue with another assistant in the office. Talking about what Dan Devine was saying tonight, on when they do have a issue with the zoning board, that's a lot of work. So we need to really think about that, and when we go through the budget, and say we might have to add something here, but we might have to put a hold on until we can figure out. And then we need to make the final determination on what we're going to do with the position that Karen is holding open for us right now.
When you're talking about personnel, you have a resignation from the assistant town clerk. I was reading an article in the newspaper about some other town that made me think of this. Are you gonna try to fill that position and fill it so that somebody's on board July 1st, since her resignation is effective June 30th? So that potentially that person is being trained to become the next town clerk? I don't expect an answer tonight, because you probably haven't thought about any of that, but those are thoughts that have been going through my mind.
We did give Chris the pay scale, so I don't know if she's filed for the position. I mean, put it out for bid or whatever.
No, we're still waiting on the job descriptions to come back from town council. That's what Donna has them right now. So we haven't been able to advertise. So I need to go back to her. I was just giving her some time.
Right.
So is it okay to contact Donna and ask what the status is for the job descriptions? And then that would be the next step, would be to advertise the position.
Okay.
And I'm talking about assistant town clerk.
Correct. Yeah, right. I'm just answering the question.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a new hire for the transfer station. It's Jaden Hunter of Northfield. He'll be working just on Saturdays, and can I have a motion to put him on our payroll?
I would make a motion to hire Jaden Hunter, transfer station attendant, to start on Saturday, December 16th.
To work 10 hours for $16.50 an hour.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Karen, just make sure that Sue understands he's coming on the payroll and is paid. We usually forget to tell her.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
We do.
We
Okay,
usually
okay,
forget to
right.
tell her that.
Okay, yes, we should
In
tell
the
She'll
her.
get a time
we have-
sheet and she'll say, what do I do with this one?
I make,
Yeah.
right,
And he needs to see her to fill out all the
Right.
paperwork.
sure.
Okay. And,
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't,
One other thing is, when we get that document, the policy, flag policy document, updated, you needed to send that out to town council just to make sure that we have the legal opinion on that and we're not doing anything. Okay, anything else to come before the board? What, you got anything?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a Merry Christmas, folks. We won't see you before then.